The White House was celebrating the 90th anniversary of the Social Security Act today. They were focusing on the fact that they have passed a bunch of changes in the big, beautiful bill. No tax on Social Security for seniors. They've removed something like 275,000 illegal aliens from the system. And there was 12.4 million names over 120 years old. Some, I think, were even over 150 years old. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Newsom is still running the President Trump playbook. He's talking about changing the whole makeup of the House of Representatives, and it's going to change the presidency, and they're going to impeach Trump, and he's just running for president, so he's just trying to get eyes on himself. So we'll talk about Newsom a little bit more. D.C. has moved into clear homeless encampments, and we've got a bunch of information about that. The Smithsonian is revamping all of their all of this stuff basically in the Smithsonian, and it's sparked controversy with Jillian Michaels on CNN allegedly defending white people, something like that. So we'll get into it. And SCOTUS has allowed age verifications on social media pages. So we'll talk about that. But first, we're going to have you guys head on over to castbrew.com, and I want you to buy some coffee. All right. We've got Josie's Signature Blend is available now. It's brand new, so you should buy it to try it out. You can get 2 weeks till Christmas, which is the blend that I am featured on. Ian's Graphene Dream is available, and then the big seller Appalachian Nights. We've got K-Cups. We've got all the stuff you need, so head on over to castbrew.com and buy yourself some coffee. It's the coffee that I drink every morning, and legit, it is good. I'm not saying that just because I'm here. Then head on over to timcast.com and become a member so that you can join our Discord. You can come to the after show. You can call in from the Discord. You can talk to our guests, you can talk to the people here on the panel, and you can also jump into a bunch of different rooms in the Discord. You can meet new people, you can find like-minded individuals, because what we're trying to build here at Timcast Media is community, all right? So it's important that you guys go and join the Discord by joining timcast.com, becoming a member at timcast.com. Also, head on over to rumble.com and become a member of Rumble, so that way you can join us in the after show, where we're uncensored. We're not limited by the things that YouTube allows us to say. We can say whatever we want. Sometimes it'll get a little dirty. Sometimes we'll have funny stuff. But you should definitely join rumble.com. But before we do, I want you to head on over to timcast.com, become a member, all right? Share the show with all of your friends. And joining us tonight to discuss this and a whole bunch more is Terrence Williams.
Thanks for having me on. I'm Terrence Williams. I'm a comedian and the founder of Cousin T's Pancakes, Cousin T's Foods. Happy to be on.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Raymond G. Stanley's here.
Hey, guys. What's going on? It's Raymond G. Stanley Jr. I am the local blue-collar devil dog here. Cousin T, my very first appearance was here was with yourself, and out of my 15 to 20 appearances, you're on 3, so it's good to see you all the time, man.
That's because we cousins.
Exactly. Tate.
Producer Tate here. Tate Brown holding it down. How are we doing today? I'm looking at the fried chicken mix there. I'm on a cut right now, so seeing that is pretty soul crushing. But now I know the first thing I'm gonna have.
I have a keto fried chicken coming out.
Is that real?
It's gonna be a low carb, low calorie keto fried chicken.
Oh my
mix.
Goodness! Well, I'm gonna make some calls.
How much cardio are you doing if you're cutting?
Too much.
Too much?
No, just kidding. 3 miles. It's not bad. It's not that bad.
That's not a lot.
Yeah. You got to do 5, 10. You need to do 10,000 steps a day.
Yeah. The steps is key.
Especially at your age.
Yeah.
You're such an old guy.
I'm 24. I should be like in the prime right now. So.
You are in the prime.
No, not yet. The prime's coming. Everyone should get ready though. As soon as I get some of that keto fried chicken mix, the prime will be here.
Over for you. Fools.
Let go of those prime cheeseburgers,
That's
buddy.
Right. That's
right. All right. So we're going to get into it. Donald Trump was in the White House today talking about all of the wonderful things that he has been able to do for the Social Security system, because the Social Security Act is 90 years old today. The anniversary was today. So we're going to go ahead and listen to what President Trump had to say about that.
Last month, I signed one big, beautiful bill and allowed no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, okay? So how's that? Not bad, right? No tax on Social Security for our seniors. And to protect our benefits, we've already kicked nearly 275,000 illegal aliens off of the Social Security system. These are people, many of them have already left the country, and yet we were sending them checks all the time. And 275,000, and that number is now even larger than that, Frank. It's an unbelievable job. And what that's doing is making the system strong. It's making it strong. Biden never kicked anybody off. Everybody joined. And we're carrying out historic deportations to remove many more illegals committing Social Security fraud. It's the Social Security fraud that was taking place at levels that nobody's ever seen. We cleared 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database over 120 years of age. Think of that. So we had 12.4 million names where they were over 120 years old.
Sounds like he's
Is that
just
right?
finding out.
That's a hell of a statement. I have a feeling, Dan, that's not really that really didn't happen, did it? So you have 12.4 million names listed in the Social Security database that were over 120 years of age, meaning you were breaking records, because I've never heard of anybody at 125. There were nearly 135,000 people listed who were over 160 years old, and in some cases getting payments. So somebody's getting those payments, and we're after that.
So this is one of the benefits of the big, beautiful bill, apparently. He had the ability to take all these names off the Social Security rolls. This is something that I can't imagine how Democrats will spin this to be a bad thing, but I think that they're likely going to try. But I just like the crime in D.C., it's one of those things where Democrats really, they can't. So do you guys figure that they're going to try and spin this as bad, or do you think that they're going to just say that they're hurting people? Because that's the argument that I've heard in the past is, oh, they're taking Social Security from people that need it.
They're going to say that Trump is lying. They're going to say he doesn't have proof. They're going to demand to see this list in the names and how much money they were receiving. Then they're going to make up a lot. Then they're probably going to, I think they're going to manufacture a crisis. They're going to say Trump accidentally kicked a bunch of Americans off of Social Security, and they're going to have
that deserved it, that should have been there.
Yeah, that should have been there, and he mistaked them for an illegal immigrant. And this poor lady, and they're gonna pay people to lie for them. I lost my Social Security after Trump made that statement. Right before he made that statement, and yeah, they're gonna make up stuff.
Tate, is that gonna fly with the American people? Because I think that this is one of those topics that Americans kind of know. Like, if you pay attention to politics, they know that Social Security is insolvent, and they know that and they generally, it's nonpartisan to agree that Social Security fraud is bad.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at the State of the Union address, Trump presented these findings for the first time. If I remember correctly, a few Democrats, there's like in the State of the Union, it's all about who stands up and who doesn't for certain things, depending on what your constituents want. But I remember when he was reading off those numbers, a lot of Democrats were like, yeah, this is actually pretty, this is pretty bad. This is a really bad look. Yeah, I mean, I think those numbers are correct. That Doge did a number on Social Security fraud, and it was really extensive. And yeah, the American people, there's a real anxiety with younger Americans, especially, that we're not even going to see our Social Security. So I think any attempt to shore up and guarantee that, or squeeze out any longevity out of Social Security, is going to go over really well.
Well, I don't think young Americans, a lot of young Americans, especially this new generation, they're not thinking about Social Security right now.
Right.
Not really young ones. If you're talking about kids that are like 18 and up, 18 to 25. I know when I was 25, I wasn't thinking about Social Security. I was having taxes come out my check. I said, where all this money going? Social Security. I don't want Social Security.
Yeah.
Give me my money. I got bills to pay. But I do appreciate that I am glad that they caught this fraud. But I want to see some people arrested for this. Who are the people that were cashing these checks, okay? And if these were illegal immigrants collecting Social Security, how do we know that these were not some crooked Americans coming up with fake Social Security numbers, collecting these fake checks?
To be devil's advocate, real quick, he's saying that the names were on the list. They're not saying that they're receiving benefits.
Yeah,
so it could have just been a bug. It could have just
so they were not receiving benefits.
According to like Al Jazeera and these terrible news sources, I apologize, watching posts are saying, and folks are saying they were not actually receiving them, but the names are on the list, which they could have received them. Nobody knows. That I know.
I mean,
what's the-
even Donald Trump in this particular clip, he said that there were some of them were receiving checks. So there's 12.4 million names over 120 years old. Likely, what that is it's just they haven't cleaned them up. So it's inefficiency, and it's not actually 12.4 million people that are committing fraud.
How do we know that it's something that they actually haven't cleaned up?
Well, I mean,
because it's
this is-
120 years old. How do we know that there are not people in government making up that like they found, like, I'm pretty sure someone that's working in government already knew this was going on. He said, wow, all these people collecting checks and they don't even know about it. And these checks is, maybe I'll start collecting this check of this person who died 100 years ago, somehow funnel the money here or make up some stuff. I don't know. But I doubt that nobody knew about this. Somebody knew about this.
I mean, that's
and they kept their mouth shut because they were collecting that money too.
That's the whole.
I don't think that we don't have any evidence of that being the case. Now, I'm not saying that it's not possible. And in this clip, like I said, Donald Trump.
It's a conspiracy. We don't have the evidence.
Donald Trump even Donald Trump said that there were people that might be collecting the checks, and I think this is actually just cleaning up the rules, because there's a significant difference between 275,000 illegals and 12.4 million names over 120 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do see identity theft all the time with Social Security numbers, in which they have the Social Security death index. A name will go on there that they're dead. The Social Security number is cleared, but it takes a little while for that record to be formally updated. And then someone that's here that's illegally will take that number, use it for E-Verify, use it for something else, presumably in this case, Social Security benefits. It happens a lot. So with the amount of illegal immigrants that are in this country, and there's a lot of really reputable organizations that estimate the numbers far higher than 12 million. I mean, a couple million illegals on Social Security is probably an undercount, if anything. I mean, there's probably a lot of them. Because think about the amount of people working using E-Verify. Yeah. You can see it firsthand. People in the comments will have anecdotes of people bypassing
Here's an anecdote for you. I worked for the state of Pennsylvania. I did welfare for a year and a half during COVID. And we wouldn't get people's deaths. Like sometimes it'd be like a year out.
Yep.
So we wouldn't know that they'd still be sending them their food stamps or whatever, the MA medical for a year out until we were able to put them in the system. Be like, hey guys, this person's deceased.
Yeah, and all it takes is someone with power of attorney to cash a check for someone that's passed away. Yep. You know, if your family member passes away and they had given you power of attorney or
even if you have the card.
Yeah, if you have the
card, you can do whatever you want.
Just grab it and use it yourself.
It's possible.
There's definitely fraud. I mean, and I don't think that anyone's arguing that there isn't fraud in the system. I think that that's specifically what this is supposed to be countering. You know.
Yes.
That's the reason for this that stuff in the big beautiful bill was to get rid of this stuff. I think that it's one of those things that your average American is going to say, yeah, this is a good thing. I can't imagine anyone on any whatever your political opinion is, no one's going to say, oh, this is perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, deportation of all illegals, full stop, is a winning issue.
Yes.
Anyway, just polling wise. So it's like 55% of Americans support all illegals being deported. So it's like, I mean, this is a layup.
Yeah.
I mean, the support for not paying illegals Social Security.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be very high. We're talking high 70s.
Yeah, I mean, Democrats have been on the wrong side of 80-20 issues for at least the past year and a half, regularly, consistently. And a lot of it's driven by the fact that it's just Donald Trump that's bringing these issues up, or that it's Republicans that are talking about him. And the Democrats seem to have this need to just oppose Donald Trump, regardless of whether or not it's something that the American people want, regardless of whether or not it's something that's good for them. They think that if I am opposing Donald Trump, this will play in my election, and it doesn't matter if it helps the American people. They've stopped representing Americans, and they only represent people that want to oppose Donald Trump, even if it's detrimental to the American people.
What do you guys think about it's going to be insolvent in 2034, 2035? And you're saying the young people, they don't care. You know, I mean, I didn't care also as a young kid, because you have to pay your bills. Everyone wants to buy houses nowadays. You want to start a family. They can't afford anything. And then now they're knowing that when they get older, they're not going to have any retirement plans.
I think young people should care. But now I'm starting to hear a lot of young people say they don't even want to own a home because it costs too much. They don't want to deal with the maintenance. They just want an apartment. They don't want to own any land. I don't want to own any land. I mean, and then look at, I mean, people get well, look what the government is doing. I mean, they have death tax, they have a inheritance tax. Some people get an inheritance and they let it all go because it costs too much to keep it because they're going to get taxed for a death tax. And I mean, it's just so a lot of young people they don't care. They don't care, but they should care.
They should care because
they should care though.
What the federal government is
Yes.
going to do is they're just going to monetize that debt.
Exactly.
They're going to just print money to pay the debt. And that's going, if you think the inflation in the past couple years has been bad, wait until they're trying to inflate away 50 trillion or 75 trillion, because right now it's 37 trillion.
Yes.
Yeah.
By 2033, it'll easily be 60 trillion, 70 trillion, 75 trillion.
Yeah.
And when they're trying to print enough money to cover that kind of debt, your dollars are going to be literal pennies.
Yeah. Well, you're already seeing in Europe what happens when you have massive debt and a declining population. The only solution they've come up with is just import as many people from the third world as possible. And so if you are concerned about immigration, the level of immigration to the United States, you do have to balance the books at some point because there's no way around it. It's like they need a tax base if they want to support these massive social programs and Social Security. That'd be political suicide to advocate for abolishing or even like doing really touching it in any way. It's gonna be political suicide. So there's a lot of factors at play, and it's the only solution these Western governments have come up with so far is just flooding the country with workers.
The reason that there has been no fix yet is not because they haven't been able to forecast what's going to happen. It's because there is no political will, and that's because old people vote, and old people don't want their Social Security checks to change.
Yeah.
It is
Absolutely.
an unpopular thing with the largest portion of the voting population. It's boomers, right? There's boomers and Gen X. I don't think Gen X has started collecting Social Security yet, but even still, boomers are the ones that are on Social Security. Boomers are the ones that need Social Security. And even though they've paid in X amount of dollars, they're taking 4 or 5 times out what they actually paid in.
Yeah.
But they'll swear up and down that this is money that I paid in and I deserve this, etc. So they're the ones that vote. And there's more of them.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. There are fewer millennials than there are Gen X. There are fewer Gen X than there are boomers. There are fewer Gen Z than there are millennials. So there's no tax base. And they don't have the voting power. They don't have the political power at all.
Yeah.
Like even if they all joined together and said, we're going to vote to fix this stuff, the boomers there's still enough boomers to say, no, you're not.
Right.
We're going to vote for politicians that won't touch.
They're like Gen Z and Gen Alpha combined.
Yeah.
Basically, the amount of people.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And Gen Alpha won't be, there won't be enough Gen Alpha voting for another 15 years.
And
You got the boomers concerned with Social Security, the Gen X. Is they Gen Z or Gen X? Which one is
Gen
it?
X is right out. It's Gen X, then boomers.
I can't keep up all this
Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, then boomers.
Oh, okay. Well, the really young people.
That's Gen Z.
Gen Z, okay. Like their concern is, and a lot of them are in the Democrats they do a good job at manipulating Gen Z, okay? They have gotten a lot of them to hate Donald Trump for absolutely no reason they can't even explain to you. And most of them, their main concern, some of them, is saving TikTok.
Yeah.
Saving TikTok. The boomers are trying to save Social Security, and y'all trying to save TikTok. These are two different fights here, But the really important thing is, is the future. And TikTok is not the future. That should not be the main concern. The social media and hating Donald Trump, like that is not an issue. Like you need to be focused on your future, about your Social Security and how you're gonna be able to feed your children and even have a family and take care of a family. That is what is important. And we got to get the young people to understand that.
Well, the thing with Gen Z is you have this generalized nihilism among the entire generation, which is why you see candidates like Zoran get massive support. And it's not even because Gen Z has a particular draw to like Marxism or that sort of thing. It's just Gen Zers are so nihilistic and so dissuaded with the system that they've gone radical either way. And there's really like if you're Gen Z and you're a centrist, that's like cringe.
When Gen Z thinks of someone like Mamdani, they're not thinking of, or when they talk about socialism or communism, right? They're not thinking of Lenin, Mao, and Stalin.
Yeah.
They're thinking free healthcare and everyone should get healthcare.
They're thinking about Canada.
Well, and
They kind of it's kind of true. And as much as it sounds nice. It's not even working in Canada because Canada has long waits for care, and they have made medical assistance in dying and
they're paying huge taxes.
Yeah, they're paying over 50%
all these
in
countries
taxes.
overseas
Crazy.
healthcare are paying 53% of their income.
Yeah, but I mean, and there are a lot of Gen Z that are like, well, I would pay that if I had health care, if I didn't have to worry about it. But the thing is, most people in Gen Z don't really need health care, right? They're most of the time they're young. Now, of course, there are people that have chronic illnesses. Of course, there are people that do. But people that need health insurance are people that are older because they're the ones that are going to go to the doctor more often. That's one of the things that if you're going to have a healthcare system, you should be able to say, look, I want an inexpensive plan to cover if I break my arm or my appendix needs to come out, something that's not likely going to happen and it doesn't cost them a ton of money. So that way they don't get, huge bills should there be a big problem. But then that'll help pay for the people that do need care, that have chronic conditions, that are, whether they're young people with chronic conditions or they're older people who end up needing most of your healthcare cost in your life comes in the last 5-10 years. That's usually what happens. But that's not what they're hearing or what they're thinking about when they hear Zohran Mamdani talk or any other one like AOC or Bernie Sanders. They think, the government should just take care of everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't take care of themselves because there's so many fatties out there. There's like 50% of America.
75% of America are overweight.
Yeah.
50% of America is obese.
Yeah.
That is absolutely absurd.
They need to
and
start
those
caring
people
about themselves first.
Yeah, they have no right to demand that the state take care of their health care, especially when we're $37 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
So we should pay for everyone's health care when these people don't take care of themselves.
Yes. And you can almost flip the issue where if you're a young person and you're looking at numbers like that, you're looking at a country where 75% of the people are sick. Effectively, that's what being overweight, obese is. Looking at a country that's racked up $37 trillion in debt, looking at a country with like sky high suicide rates, and they're looking at it and they're saying, why would I ever cast a vote that reinforces this system in any way, any meaningful way? No, I want a Trump. I want a Mamdani. I want to throw a brick through the window.
Yeah.
And they can do that through, right now they're using democratic systems to use that, but there's no guarantee as things, decline more and more that will still be, there'll still be a civil, a civil way out of this. A civil way to express the anger that people are feeling.
So you're saying the future is going to be healthy right wingers versus fatty.
Yeah, the Democrats push out is free.
Yeah.
Nothing in life is free. Okay,
Right.
if you want to eat, go work. Okay, if you want a roof over your head, go live with your parents. If you're fortunate to have parents in your life and they let you live there. If you don't have parents, if you don't have nobody to live with, work your ass off and get a job and so you can afford to have a home. I want free rent. And I have cousins that say it's crazy. I saw one of them post online. It's crazy that we actually gotta pay for water, something that we need to live. It's crazy that we need money to eat. That's so crazy. I was like,
people with that mindset. and I don't want to just say that it's young people, because it's not just young people that have that mindset.
Yeah.
But the people that have that mindset have no relation to what it takes to provide them with the food that they're going to eat. They have no idea how many human hours of work go into making sure that the plumbing works in your building and in your city. I have my place in New Hampshire, I got a well, and I have to pay a guy to come out if there's a problem with the well. Mm-hmm. In the city, in municipality, you have to pay a little bit, per month for your water, but everything costs something, like you were saying.
Yes,
and your septic tank too. You just can't poo. And it magically disappears. You got to clean out your septic.
I could go out in the woods and dig a hole, but that's an awful thing. And January 3rd at 6 in the morning,
especially in wintertime.
Yeah,
the balls out.
It's terrible. But all right, we're gonna get off of this one, and we're gonna jump to this story from Gavin Newsom. Live updates: Gavin Newsom calls for special election in California to redraw congressional maps. This is just Gavin Newsom basically announcing that he's going to going to run for president, and what he's trying to do is actually generate clicks. So what to know today, new congressional maps. California Governor Gavin Newsom called on the state lawmakers to allow a November ballot measure to redraw congressional districts. This is likely not going to happen in California, to be honest with you, because it's going to take a ballot initiative. They're going to actually have to vote for it. The move comes as Democrats have sought ways to combat Republicans' mid-decade redistricting efforts in states like Texas. Texas House Democrats' demands. Meanwhile, the Texas State House Democrats caucus set demands for Democratic lawmakers to return to the state, including ending the first special session of the Texas legislature aimed at passing redistricting efforts to benefit Republicans, and for California to introduce redistricting maps to counter Texas. The Democrat lawmakers in Texas still are on the lam. They haven't returned yet. And I haven't heard anything as to if Ken Paxton is actually pushing to round these people up. I do think that the DOJ, the federal DOJ, has offered its services, or the FBI has offered services. I would like to see this, but I don't think that there's been anything developed about this. So Trump is also saying that he believes that Trump is planning to run in 2028. And this clip is actually really funny, but this is something that Donald Trump has been playing around with, basically trolling the left because they're so reactionary that anything that Donald Trump says, they turn into, such a massive deal, and they run around like their hair's on fire. And Gavin Newsom is not immune to that.
Well, I think it's pretty sick and pathetic. And it just said everything you need to know, the setting that we're under. That they chose the time, manner, and place to send their district director outside right when we're about to have this press conference. Said everything you know about Donald Trump's America. And that was top down. You know that for a fact. They'll deny it, I'm sure. Maybe they won't deny it. Said everything you know about the authoritarian tendencies of the President of the United States. I said in a moment ago, wake up, America. Wake up. You will not have a country if he rigs this election. You will have a president who will be running for a third term. Mark my word. I wasn't exaggerating when I said that I received in the mail a Trump 2028 hat from one of his biggest supporters. These guys are not screwing around. The rules do not apply to him. The most corrupt president in history. He doesn't believe in free enterprise, crony capitalism. He is wrecking this country, wrecking the economy. He's a lawless president. Wake up, America. Wake up to what's going on.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's running for president.
Yeah, he's definitely running for president.
When you think free enterprise, you do think California.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Where like truckers refusing to take contracts because in like 5 years they have to switch to electric.
There's been an exodus of businesses from California because of the policy.
Yeah, there's no red tape. It's free
it's like a
enterprise
total.
over
It's
there in
like it's a
California.
paradise.
I did recruiting for a little bit in Sacramento back in 2018, and even back in 2018, people were leaving freaking California to go to Texas and the other states because of their rules and their terrible policies.
Yeah.
For the free enterprising out of that state. And Gavin Newsom, and this guy's swarmy. I need to take a breath.
He's a
disgusting human being, brother.
He would love for President Trump to run in 2028 because that would help him raise so much money. I mean, he's begging for Trump to run again because it would help him raise a lot of money. I mean, that's what he wants to run on. He would love to run against President Trump. That's his dream.
Oh, he'd get murdered.
That's his dream. He probably wanted to run as in place of Joe Biden, but he couldn't. He probably wanted to do that. He was probably jealous watching Kamala Harris run. He was like, I wish that was me running for because I would have won. Yeah, this guy's a joker. You couldn't look at what you've done with California. He has ran California into the ground. People there can barely afford rent. Okay, it is so expensive to live there. The homeless crisis is out of control. Y'all can fact check me on this. But I've been reading a lot about $100 million in relief funds have been missing. It's something shady going on there. I mean, man, find that money first, and then you think about running. Where's the money? We don't want to. I don't want to hear nothing else. Where's the money?
To your point about the way that California has been run, it takes a really significantly badly run state to get people to leave a state like California.
Yes,
because it's beautiful, right? the fact that it's so nice all the time. In February, you can literally be standing in like Lakewood, and it's like 75 degrees, gorgeous out, and you can see the snow-capped mountains just half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour away if there's no traffic. Beautiful. You can go snowboarding in the morning, and if you want, you could be on the beach by the evening. When you have a place that is that gorgeous, though, it is really, really, really tough to get people to leave. So to think of all of the people that have left California, because I think it's something like 500,000 or so people have left in the past since COVID.
It was me.
It was Serge left. And I mean, it's like, I've been there a lot and it's beautiful, but I mean, I couldn't live there with the policies that they have.
This is the first time they had a drop in migration, state migration.
Yeah.
Was last year. It was the first time they had more people leaving than they had moving in there. I mean, I had a place in Camarillo back in the mid 2000s, and so I know the whole Ventura County, Westlake area. Super nice, super nice. I can't imagine.
Were you at 29 Palms?
I've been there before, but I've never lived there.
Never worked there.
Yeah, did training there. But anyways, it was. I can't imagine living there today and how kind of rules and regulations they have. And like they had a guy get shot on Thousand Oaks Boulevard, which is the super nicest, one of the best communities, was one of the safest next to Simi Valley in California just a couple years ago because he was protesting Israel and the whole thing, and someone got murdered right on the street. It's just, I can't imagine how that would be back in the 2000s. It's just insane how it's got the S.
Have you spent any time in California?
No, not. I've been out there once, but I keep an eye. I mean, look, you're right. It is like geographically the perfect place. I mean, pristine. It's like you mix the Mediterranean with like the Alps and you just smash it right by a coast. Tremendous. I mean, if you had the same policies and like I used to live in Indiana, if you passed the same policies in Indiana, you'd have like 10 people left. Like people would get out of there so quick.
I mean, it's true. Well, yeah. Same thing with like the only reason that I mean, I can't imagine that you could have the same policies in New England. That was what I was going to say. But then I think about Massachusetts and I think about New York and New Jersey.
But even then, like California is at a different level. I mean, they dropped like almost $1 trillion on a high-speed rail that goes from like Fresno to Merced.
Is that even done?
I mean, that would be like
it will never be done.
Failed. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a complete failure. There is no high-speed rail that's going to be in California.
Did they do anything positive there? Like, did they accomplish any of their missions, their goals?
Nothing.
Okay, so a lot of talk and a lot of hoopla.
They built nothing because of red tape and
right, free enterprise.
Yeah, exactly. The state of free enterprise.
Imagine Gavin Newsom. Imagine a Gavin Newsom America. He would be worse than Barack Obama.
That's impressive.
He would be worse than Joe Biden. I couldn't even imagine. I wouldn't leave America because this is my country. I was born here, raised here. I ain't going no damn where. But it would be sickening to live under a Gavin Newsom America. Mm-hmm. Like, rule. I mean, this guy would be, how people are viewing, how some of these Democrats are viewing Donald Trump to be this dictator and this control freak and this crazy man, that is going to be Gavin Newsom. Mm-hmm. Everything he's accusing Trump of, that is going to be him.
Yeah.
He is projecting.
Yeah.
And isn't he a lizard? I think Shane called him a lizard before.
Yeah, he's just really, because he's kind of old school in a weird way. Like he is this kind of old school, slimy, kind of Tammany Hall politician.
Yeah.
He'll just adopt whatever, because that's going to be his problem in 2028 is he has these marketing agencies that are behind him in his ear right now saying, hey, you need to LARP like you're this masculine, tough guy. And then he's going to get to 2028 and get that primary and realize the Democrat voters want like someone that's like trans, Puerto Rican, whatever. And he's going to be cooked.
Do you think that he could win the nomination?
No.
I don't think that he could win because he's a cis white male.
Well, and right now, whatever marketing agency is in his ear, he's trying to win over like moderate Republicans, but you still have a primary to get through. If you're running in a general, that might actually work.
He don't even sound trusting. Like you look at him, he looks like a slime ball. He's
he was on
like a car salesman.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. He was on Sean Ryan's show and he gifted him like a handgun, and then he's like, yeah, this is so sick. I love guns.
He looks like a shady lawyer.
Yeah, it's like he handed him like a hedgehog or something. He was like, "This is great."
Gavin Newsom if Gavin Newsom became president, he is the one who would want a third term. He would say, I need to stay in so we will never have another Donald Trump in this country again. That is exactly what he would say. You know?
It is my sense, like you said, Tate, it is my sense that he couldn't win a primary.
I don't know.
Like, how does the Democrats look at someone like Gavin Newsom and actually say, okay, we're going to put the base is going to get behind you. I can imagine the money getting behind him.
Oh, yeah, he has money
I still think that
behind
there's a big civil war going on in the Democrat Party between the woke, the very progressives, and the people like Newsom. And to Tate's point, he is going on Sean Ryan, trying to grab the Republicans that might not love Donald Trump. But I don't see how he wins a primary, especially if it's someone like AOC. And again, I know there are people that disagree with me. Last time I was here, we had this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
But I like whether or not you like AOC's policies, which obviously I don't. Like I'm very much a free market guy, and I want to deport a bunch of people, and I'm far more conservative than or far more right wing, I guess, than most of the people on the right, to be honest with you. But like, I don't see how someone like Gavin Newsom can get on stage with AOC and how the base would look at Gavin Newsom and say, I would rather vote for Gavin Newsom than for AOC.
I think he would. I think it's a lot of BS with their whole their BIPOC. They want the minority. I feel like he would definitely win the primary because he's slimy enough. He says the right things for them.
Or maybe they'll run together. AOC be his VP. Newsom Cortez.
I think it's all fake on their side. They're like, oh, we want this. We're so mad. We want the trans queer person.
Yeah.
It's all fake because they got Joe Biden. He's white. They're gonna if Brock, he's kind of white.
I would pay for Newsom to choose. Well, I know he can't do this because Maxine lives in California, but I would love to. I would pay to see Newsom Waters
That'd be nice.
campaign to see Maxine Waters.
Well, I mean,
I would love to see that. Oh, I would get a kick out of that.
That would be a beautiful thing. I mean, look, the problem in 2028 for Newsom is going to be like, think how angry Democrats are right now. Now imagine after 3 years of Trump, they're going to want to go back and fight fire with fire, and they're going to pick the most radical option that the DNC will basically allow them to have.
Do you think that would be someone like AOC, or do you think there's someone that is actually more radical that could possibly take her place?
Yeah, I mean, it could be an AOC. I mean, there's even guys that no one's really talking about yet that are sniffing around, like Ruben Gallego. I mean, there's a chance that someone like him could raise a bunch of money because those guys like Ruben, like senators have connections.
Senators,
that's a good point.
And so win a race in Arizona, you have to raise a lot of money. So Ruben Gallego, he knows how to raise money, but he's progressive enough to please the radical left base. And he can still talk and cool down kind of the more establishment Democrats. Someone like Newsom's cooked because the base in 2028 is not going to want to moderate. I mean, think about how we were in 2016, and they're like, here's Scott Walker and Jeb Bush. And we're like, no, we want the guy that's like calling him gay on stage. That's awesome. We want that guy. So Democrats are going to have that moment in 28.
It is true that you make a great point. The Congress people do not win. I can't remember the last time someone from Congress from the House of Representatives won the presidency. If you're a senator, you have far more influence with the moneyed people. They tend to deal with those people more because, look, if you're looking to open some kind of big business or you want your business to be in a state, you don't go talk to the 3rd district's congressional representative because it's small potatoes. But if you talk to the junior senator even from a state, that's someone that can actually help you when it comes to getting legislation passed. They can act, especially if they're on, depending on which committee they're on, of course. But so that is a really great point. If there's someone that's a senator that is progressive, they will likely have a significantly higher chance than anyone in
Gavin Newsom. People are running from Gavin Newsom. You should not be running for president when people are running from you.
Yeah,
they're running from California. They do not want to live in a state that you are running because of you. You are terrible.
Well, he's going to get embarrassed. I think personally,
California accounts for a large portion of the homeless population.
Yeah.
Imagine if he becomes president. We all gonna be homeless.
Real. It's going to be like one giant skid row. Yeah.
One giant skid row.
I think he's going to get embarrassed with his ballot measure in November because if you look at the polling right now, the Californian people, for what it's worth, you got to give them the dub every once in a while. They do really like their independent commission.
True.
I think the polling's like 60-40 right now. And now you have guys like Arnold. I mean, Arnold's still well liked in California. He's getting involved. He's saying, no, do not repeal this. So, like, come November, I think Gavin Newsom, I don't even know if he's going to get this across the finish line. The only way he is he's going to be able to present this in like a really partisan way. But
You're talking about for the redistricting.
for the redistricting, yeah. But like by November, like it would be a midterm season. Like people are just Californians like for what it's worth, they like their independent commission, even the Democrats.
Yeah, I don't imagine that there's going to be actual redistricting in California because I don't see them. I don't see the ballot initiative passing.
Is Gavin Newsom allowed on this podcast? Would y'all entertain?
We would have him here in a
heartbeat.
in a second.
Since he's trying to reach the conservative base.
In a heartbeat.
He should come on this show. I would love to see y'all tear him into pieces.
I think we just ask him very basic questions and chew himself to pieces.
Yeah, he will chew himself to pieces. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know?
So
Come through.
Roll up, Gavin. We got you.
Yeah, we got you.
End of day, I'm thinking Gavin Newsom still has a chance of winning the primary, but my overall pick, I said before here, is I know people don't like this pick, but I still think Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna.
Who's that?
If you guys think he's too moderate, I know you guys told me last time, but I still think Ro Khanna has a really good shot. Ro Khanna, you know who Ro Khanna is?
I think that he possibly could win.
Ro Khanna.
He's in a weird spot because his specific district really likes him. This is rare.
And
these
also,
days.
he's a congressperson. Congress people are
Right.
I hear what you're saying.
What is his last name?
Khanna. Khanna.
He won't be president. No, just on the last name. Period.
Hey, we elected a guy named
President
Barack Obama.
It's not.
He's getting around. He's going on all these podcasts. People love him on the left.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of moderate.
I still can't believe we did that as a country.
What black man got the middle name Hussein? Who?
It's usually post prison.
Hussein. That's post
prison. Yeah.
After 9/11,
Hussein.
So if Trump puts Obama in jail, how is he going to Muslim up his
I've
name?
never met a black person with that middle name. You will never meet a Trayvon Hussein Williams, a Taquan Hussein Johnson, Hussein.
Well, I mean, what was Barack Obama's father's name?
Barack Obama Sr., I think. Right?
What was it?
He's a junior?
I think it was I think his father's name was also Barack Obama.
So then it'd be Barack Hussein. If he's a junior, it'd be Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
So that's
Something
probably
like
why.
Alexa is.
You're trying to.
Well, with the Ro Khanna thing, I mean, the thing about Ro Khanna is he's in a weird district because it's like a tech bro district. So it's rare to actually see a rep that is really well liked by his constituents and disliked by the rest of the party.
I can't imagine no president named Ro Khanna.
I know.
But everyone loves him, bro. I'm telling you. I'm sticking to it.
Does he have the name recognition, though?
Oh, he's a senior. You're right.
Yeah. But I think Ro Khanna could maybe appeal to like the tech bro sector and win him back to the Democrats because I do think the nationalist MAGA base and the tech base, we've already seen tensions flare up a few times already in the Trump presidency. Come 3 years, we could see a major.
You think he's a better option than Vivek?
Well, I'm saying that if the money came back to the Democrats, maybe they could squeak Ro Khanna across the finish line. I doubt it. Maybe a VP.
Vivek's going to be. He's looking to be the governor of Ohio. He's running for.
Oh yeah, that's
Is that this year?
I think he also nuked his national ambitions with this Christmas crash out over the H1.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I
agree.
The MAGA base is in charge now. We're in the driver's seat. We don't have to tolerate that. Kind of
I haven't posted this video yet, but I had got a call on my phone. It said, "Hello." I said, "Who is this?" We're calling about what you think about the American politics. I said, "Who is this?" "This is John." I said, John, where are you from? I'm from Idaho. I said, I recorded my. I got my other phone to record the comment. I'm gonna post it. I said, John, you really from Idaho? Yes, I'm from Idaho. I just call about politics. What you think about what's going on in America right now?
Might have actually been.
They're even H1B in our pollers.
Just rooting the call through Idaho.
Even Rasmussen went for
Idaho via New Delhi via Idaho.
Yeah, I said,
the scam likelies. Why you're answering the scam likelies?
Man, they call from it didn't come up as scam likely.
Yeah, okay. Spoof
they call from all kind of numbers now.
Yeah,
it's like Mom.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear that that Newsom is going to be running for president, and I don't know if you guys saw the tweet that he put out, but his comms team is actually trying to emulate Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's so good.
Which is, what do you mean good?
Because it just shows that Trump commands.
Okay, yeah.
He commands the conversation.
But it's so terrible the way he's doing it. Like, did you see the last one he did with Stephen Miller? He was using. Yeah, have y'all seen the post that Gavin Newsom office did with Stephen Miller? That he did about Stephen Miller. Look at
about Stephen Miller.
Yeah, about Stephen Miller. He replied. He did a quote tweet. It is insane. Just look at it. I mean, this is worse than all caps. I mean, it was. Please look at this.
Well, they think they're being like coy and
Gavin
clever
Newsom office quote tweet.
and mocking, but.
You gotta see this. This is about it is terrible.
Miller, not Trump. This one?
Huh? I can't see that.
No, that's not it.
No, it's not that one. No,
You should get some glasses.
He did a quote tweet.
Is it from the governor?
Yes, it's from the governor's office. He did a quote tweet. Go down. He did a quote tweet. How many times do we post today?
A lot, I'm sure.
Is this from today?
Yeah, that's from today, 5 hours ago.
Yeah, it was.
Look, he even put sad.
It was yesterday.
Sad.
Like Trump dominant. He's changed the American syntax forever.
It was yesterday. Now maybe you can type in the. Maybe you can. Okay. Yeah. No.
Quote tweet.
Caroline. They're trying to give nicknames too. Caroline Levitt.
I mean, has there ever been a single Democrat that's
Keep on going.
had aura like Trump? I mean, this is so
Smithsonian's supposed to be a global
embarrassing.
symbol of American strength.
No, keep on going.
Oh, that was close.
Taco Trump. Look at this. There's all these. I was gonna show.
Oh, he posts too much then.
Well, I mean, he's trying to be Donald Trump. Oh my God! Look at they did the Koveffi. Like that is.
This is fan behavior. This is weird.
Yeah.
This is creepy.
He broke his brain.
It's yeah.
Just so the Shaq can
Guys,
see this.
what if
I'll
we
keep looking
mock
for it.
Trump's style by just emulating it in a really flattering way?
And it's
Great idea, guys. Yeah.
It's so easy to trigger them too. Like anything that
Well,
we
yeah.
say, it's just they're easy. They're just
Someone sent him a Trump 2028 hat, and he's like,
crying
"Oh,
about
they're
it.
serious. They're really going to do it, and you're going to lose." And again, lose your democracy. Blah 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 blah. It's the same playbook. So, hey, Terrence, why don't you see if you can find that, and then send an email or send it over to Serge or whatever. We'll bring it up.
Yeah,
But we're going to jump to this story right now. From the Washington Post, D.C. clears homeless encampment near Kennedy Center. D.C. gave residents a day's notice to remove their belongings. The clearing comes as the Trump administration has vowed to crack down on homeless encampments in the city. Members of D.C.'s Health and Human Services team began clearing an encampment Thursday morning on a grassy no man's land near the Kennedy Center after giving residents a day's notice to remove their belongings. The clearing comes as the Trump administration has vowed to crack down on homeless encampments in the district and threatened to fine or arrest individuals who refuse to be removed or replaced in shelters. It also follows President Donald Trump declaring an emergency in the nation's capital earlier this week and putting the city's police department under federal control. He sent federal law enforcement agents on patrols in D.C. and deployed the National Guard to the city. D.C. police data shows violent crime after a historic spike in 2023 is down. This is a terrible position for the Post to be taking, because even Democrats, all the talking heads, Joe Scarborough was talking to Mark Halperin today, and Joe Scarborough was talking about crime in D.C. and how the Democrats should not be getting behind this. He was mentioning how when Scarborough was in Congress in the 90s, the Republicans would say something, and then Bill Clinton would cut their legs out from under him by saying, "I agree with them." And then he'd say, "Well, this is what I think we should do." And then, of course, Clinton would fight with the Republicans the entire time. So it wouldn't be like Clinton was giving Republicans what they wanted. But he cut the wind out of all of their arguments by saying, "Oh, I agree with them. They're right about that. I agree with them." Bill Clinton was an absolute master at rhetoric, and he was a master at taking the wind out of the sails of his political opponents. And it worked great. So the Republicans had to respond. But like we were saying earlier, there are so many people now in the Democrat Party that look at Donald Trump and think their job is to do whatever Donald Trump doesn't want them to do. That's why they've come down on the wrong side of so many 80-20 issues. The Post goes on. Let's see. The Post goes on. By 8 a.m. Thursday at the encampment, 3 people had already packed their belongings and scattered. 6 more were busy wiping down their tents and folding tarps to meet at 10 a.m. deadline set by the district. Several residents say they had been at the encampment for months. It's a longer walk than it looks across the bridge to Virginia, said David Beatty, 67, who has lived in the camp for 8 months. If I can get my stuff in storage, I'll do what I usually do. I have a broom and a dustpan, and I walk around sweeping up. The district usually posts notices for clearings 14 days in advance, and the site has not been on the district list for clearings. Rebecca Dooley, a spokesperson for the Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, said the encampment's proximity to the highway qualified it for expedited removal, which requires only 24 hours notice. Why is there any notice required? If you should not be allowed.
Decent human being, I guess. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
Look, they're homeless people, and it's not like they're just like hanging out. They've literally built essentially homes.
Yes,
right. They've got tents, they've got tarps. If they shouldn't
They
be
have gas
given,
grills. They got everything, bro.
yeah, I mean,
It's like a flat screen.
they're dangerous, possibly.
Sure.
Dude,
You know, but like
I've seen a bunch of homeless campers, but never had it.
Yeah.
they shouldn't be given. There shouldn't be any kind of required time for them to notice given to them. Just go and tell them they have to leave because they're loitering. They're trespassing.
Yeah. I mean,
It is true.
And like what I was saying earlier in the article, where like for whatever reason you're speculating why the left is pushing back on this, it's actually kind of I think it's clear is because the entire purpose of like modern left wing political thought is to demoralize patriots. And what is more demoralizing than walking around your nation's capital and there's like it looks like Bonnaroo. I mean, it's like a total disaster. So what's the most empowering thing you could do for a patriot is clean up his capital city, get the riffraff out, get the homeless out, make it really pretty. Trump wants to reinvigorate our federal architecture. He's swapped out the official architecture style of our federal buildings, and so it's like, yeah, this is actually a huge threat to the left. Is that Trump wants to empower patriots and actually make you feel good about your country and your capital again? So it's like, yeah, they actually can't concede this point. They can't. They can't let DC become a beautiful place that'll bring too much pride to the American heart.
And that's why they're making it about race now. DC has a lot of now they've been making it about race, but that's what they're pushing. They're not pushing. Oh, Trump is trying to change things to make America so beautiful again and safe again. He's doing this because it's a black mayor. A black woman intimidates Donald Trump. He's doing this because it's a lot of black people that live in D.C. and he's just trying to get in their way. He don't like black people. That's why he's doing this. That is literally their argument right now about him keeping D.C. safe, Washington D.C. safe. They have made that about him attacking black people.
Yeah,
that is not an attack on black people at all.
Do you think they're selling though?
Huh?
Do you think that people are buying what they're selling?
People you have people who just hate Trump, so they're gonna believe anything that they say about Trump.
White people.
Yeah, white people, and there are some black people too who believe everything that the Democrats tell them. You have a group of those, but there are a lot of boomer blacks who are happy about this. They're like, yes, because I'm tired of going to Walgreens and it's getting robbed when I'm trying to go pick up my medication. I want to be able to walk to the bus station or take the bus without somebody on the bus
when you go
with a gun and threatening to rob people.
When you go into high crime areas and they poll the people in the high crime areas, all the time they're like, yes, we want more police. The people that want to defund the police, the people that don't want more police, they're always wealthy people that don't live in the high crime area.
Exactly.
Almost all the time. So this isn't unpopular with the people that it's affecting.
Yes.
It's extremely popular with the people that it's affecting because those people are the ones that have to live with the crime. They have to live with the vagrants. They have to live with the homeless people in the area. They have to live with homeless people do crazy stuff because there's the Venn diagram of homeless people, mentally ill people, and drug users is almost a circle, right? Like homeless people and mental illness go hand in hand. Homeless people and drug use go hand in hand. There is a reason why they're homeless, and very rarely is it chronic homelessness. Not that there aren't people that fall on hard times. But chronic homelessness is almost always mental illness and drug use. Those two things are hand in hand. So people that live in these areas, they don't want to open up their door like our guest last night, Adam, was saying. You open up your door and there's a homeless guy sitting on your stoop. Like, nobody wants that.
Don't nobody want that. People want to live in clean and safe environments. That's what most people want. The people who don't care about that, they are dirty and disgusting, and they just don't care about nothing at all, evidently. They don't care about their surroundings. They don't care about their community. They don't care about safety. They don't care about their community being clean. They're just living a life, committing crimes and partying and smoking and drinking, and they don't give a damn. Okay, seriously,
it totally tracks. Like, when you see people that advocate really heavily for like the homeless, or they're like really concerned about mental health issues, or they're really upset about ICE raids, they're typically really dysgenic looking. And it's because a dysgenic soul will like present itself, it manifests itself physically, and it's also manifesting itself in their politics. They're voting for the most dysgenic, disgusting policies. It's a war on beauty. And when you see stuff like homeless people sitting next to these beautiful monuments that were built hundreds of years ago, that's just a FU to beauty. That's all that's happening here.
Yeah.
They just hate things that are beautiful. That's why they want to destroy children. That's why they want to take beautiful young men and women and transition them and load them up with drugs and cut them up. It's a war on beauty, fundamentally.
Yeah.
It's the same argument as the left in these offals saying that black folks or people of color can't get IDs to vote. Like, nobody has IDs. They can't get IDs. They don't know how to use computers, for God's sake.
Terrence, you got ID, right?
Kathy Holchel? Do you know how to use it?
What is that?
It's the exact same thing. And then when you talk to the people in the town, you talk to people on the streets, of course I have an ID. Of course I know how to use it.
I say this all the time. Let me tell you.
Same thing.
In the black, I'm telling you right now, if that is the truth, if somebody is lying, or maybe these liquor stores are not checking IDs, because a lot of places where I grew up, there was a liquor store on every street. And a lot of black people were in them liquor stores buying liquor, okay? Now, you mean to tell me that these people can't get an ID, but they in a club every weekend? Yeah. They in the club Turk the Sexy Red?
They have a car, they're driving.
They paid to go see Cardi B at the club, but they ain't got no ID.
Yeah.
When they check the ID at the door. And then, hold on, some people don't have an ID, so they're using a fake ID, so they still know how to get some type of ID.
Yeah, right?
Even if it's fake, they still got an ID.
They still got an ID.
I found that people on the lower end of the income scale are the best at exploiting like government programs, like masterful. Like I've had a few jobs where you interact with a lot of people that just scam for a living, and it's like when they explain to me the procedures and protocols of how they like hack these government systems, I'm like, I couldn't ever occur. Like, you're a genius in the realm of scamming. Yeah. It's like, how do we funnel these scammers into like intelligence? This is the year 2025. We are not living in BC times, okay? If you want something, you can it may not be easy, but you can get it. Now, especially an ID, you can get a state ID if you can't drive. You can go get an ID you can go to the library and get an ID, okay? But we are living in the greatest country in the world. If you want something, you can get it. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Nothing in life is easy. But black people can achieve anything, but the Democrats don't want them to believe that, because they need them. They need them for their votes, and they don't want them. We need you, so we're gonna tell you that you can't get this unless you vote for me.
That's what I mean.
You can't do this unless you vote for me. Also, I'm gonna tell you something you can do, but this is something you can do, but I'm gonna tell you can't do it. You don't know how to go get an ID. Do you understand me? You don't know how to. So, you don't know how to. Okay, so we running on that. So you don't need an ID to vote. Don't get one because we want to run on. You don't know how to get one.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so stupid.
They're telling with the whole ID thing, they can't get IDs. They're also telling the local residents who live in the city, who live in the area, that they're safe. There's no crime going on there. But when you speak to the local folks, there's mad interviews going on right now. You see people on the street. How do you feel about this? And like, yo, I love this Trump coming in. I love that they're bringing in these people to crack down on the streets.
Because you know
this young
what?
girl got shot the other day. This young man got shot the other day on my street. Like, we want this. This is good for us.
Because a lot of those people have lost their grandchildren and children to gun violence.
Yes. It's a whole
Calls-
30-year lie. It's bull.
Caused by gang violence
Yep.
and drug dealing in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, this comes back
yes.
to why people want police, why people that are affected by crime want police in
yeah,
their neighborhoods.
You saw the
Even criminals need the police because I tell you right now, if Lil Pookie's homie gets shot, Lil Pookie gonna call the police 911. My homie just got shot. Can somebody come right now? We need the ambulance. Somebody get some help. My homie just got shot. Get some help in this motherfucker. You know, like they even call the police. Hello, can y'all come get this? He ain't paid his child support. Okay, and you know, like I mean, black like the people that scream defund, they do need the police at some point. You know. I'm just saying, like
Well, the local residents aren't saying defund. It's the uppity.
exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, you were saying Tate.
No, he stole my line for
Oh yeah, Pookie getting down.
the baby mama line.
I saved you from some trouble.
That's true. I appreciate that. You're looking out for me.
All right, we're going to jump to this story here, and one of the parts, or one of the mentionable things about this story is the way that Huffington Post framed it and the headline they use. MAGA biggest loser star has meltdown defending white people during CNN slavery talk. Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Jillian Michaels told anchor Abby Phillips. Jillian Michaels had been fairly, at least friendly with the progressives until COVID. She's one of the people that when COVID hit, she really had an issue with it. So we're going to jump into this here. From the Huffington Post, it's HuffPost, biggest loser coach and Donald Trump supporter. They have to point out that she's a Donald Trump supporter. So that way the reader knows this person is evil. This person is bad.
Set the groundwork.
We framed that this person, you're supposed to dislike what this person says. Biggest loser coach and Donald Trump supporter Jillian Michaels had a stunning meltdown Wednesday night while defending white people during a fiery debate about the president's efforts to rewrite U.S. history. This is in context of just an overall redoing of the way that things with the Smithsonian are framed. And this is something that Donald Trump has talked about, and he ran on this, the framing of history, so that way the United States is a villain in the United States is going to end, and it should end, right? There are plenty of places around the world that hate the United States, right? And there are definitely ways that you can frame arguments to make the United States look bad. But the United States, the American people, should not be funding things that make America out to be the villain of every story.
They shouldn't. And you know what? And
Before we go, let's listen to this piece on CNN. What they're actually referring to here. Okay.
The leader and what the MAGA
Can we address
wants.
some of those things that are in there? Because have you looked at some of the things that are being reviewed?
Slavery was a bad thing that we should talk about.
Okay.
Like he's
not whitewashing slavery.
So he's not.
He's not. No.
Okay.
He's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you
can't tie slavery.
let's talk about the fact.
Slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were
Do you know who was the first race to try to end slavery?
Well,
what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
This is an extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Revisionism. Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate who was the beneficiary of slavery and who was not.
What I'm trying to tell you is that
in the context of American history. Okay. In the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by saying that it was white people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like, people migrated from Cuba because white people bad. Not.
So, and to her point, we're going to bring up something from the Smithsonian. Now, a lot of people may remember this, but this is a talking point paper or I don't know what pamphlet or whatever, distributed by the Smithsonian, right, about whiteness and white culture and the things that they were telling people that were going to the Smithsonian, things that were considered bad: rugged individualism, family structure, emphasis on scientific method, Protestant work ethic, religion, Christianity is the norm. Anything other than Judeo-Christian tradition is foreign. No tolerance for deviation from single God concept.
This is
that is traditionally the way that, not just white people, but white and black people in America. I mean, there's a lot of Southern Baptists that are black, right? Like,
absolutely.
That's the way that most Americans conceptualize religion. Status, power, and authority. Wealth is worth. Your job is who you are. Respect authority. Heavy value on ownership of goods, space, property. Future orientation. Plan for future. Delayed gratification. Progress is always best. Tomorrow will be better. Time. Follow rigid time schedules.
Oh my God.
Timed views as a commodity. Aesthetics, which 100% based on European culture. Steak and potatoes. Bland is best. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Bland is best. Okay, go ahead.
I don't even know where that comes from.
I don't know.
Like, I know for a fact white people fought tons of wars just for pepper.
Yeah,
so I don't know how that's white.
We just wanted to do it because we could show we could.
Women's beauty based on blonde, thin. I don't know about blonde. I mean, I do like thin women. I do think that it's good to be thin, to not be overweight. We were just talking about the fact that 75% of Americans are overweight, 50% of Americans are obese, and also heart disease and cancer are the two biggest killers in the United States, and both of them are strongly related to obesity. Holidays, justice based on English common law. There's no debating whether or not the United States laws are based on English common law. Protect property entitlements. If you don't protect property, your society will fall apart. The very foundation of our society is based on property rights, and the very first property that you own is your body and your life. That's why the government can't take your liberty or your property, including your body, from you without due process. Intent counts, so it does matter if you're trying to hurt something or trying to do something good. Competition, winning is important. Winner-loser dichotomy, action orientation, master and control nature, must always do something about a situation. It's a good idea to do things when there's a problem, like do things to fix that. Communication, the King's English rules. Yes, we speak English in the United States, and I think that it should be the only language that any government documents are produced in. Written tradition, avoid conflict and intimacy. I don't know how that's whiteness. Don't show emotion. Stoicism there's some value in it for men, but not for women. Don't discuss personal life. Be polite. That's a good way to not get punched in the face.
I thought the Smithsonian I thought they hated white people.
This is nauseating.
This is something.
This is an outline for how to have a good, productive life, and they're saying that these things are bad.
Yeah. I thought the whole thing was the Smithsonian hated white people. This is like they're glazing us. This is great.
Unstoppable.
No, yeah, like that aside, like it's beyond. They specifically single out like English, like the Anglosphere. Like they single out Anglo Americans, WASPs, and they single out the British. And who are the two countries that, specifically the British Empire was the first to really abolish slavery, and they fought so many wars to abolish slavery globally, and the Americans spilt 500,000 young men's blood to abolish slavery, and then we're like the only two countries that get singled out for this.
Yeah, more people died at Gettysburg than Americans died in the entire Vietnam War.
Yeah.
54,000 people died.
Yeah, we're like single-handedly held responsible for slavery. It's like we're the reason it's abolished.
It's crazy that every year slavery is a hot topic. Something that does not exist in America anymore. It is the hottest topic. Every year it is one of the hottest topics. It has been abolished for I don't know how long, okay? Slavery has been a part of just mankind. You know, it's been around thousands of years.
Still around.
Thousands of years. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. If I was trying to build a country and I didn't have help and I didn't have people wanting to help me and I'm fighting some people, or I know some people there's some slaves that's for sale, I'm buying some slaves to help me build my damn country. That's all I'm saying.
That's kind of
I'm just saying. Like, America needed slaves at the time because they could not, they were not able to slave the Native Americans because the Native Americans, they knew the land. When they would run away, the Europeans don't know where to find them. They don't know where to find Mr. Running with the Wolves. He fast.
He ran with the wolves.
Yeah. And a lot of them, and people don't know this too. You know, I'm from Oklahoma, so we learn a lot about the Native Americans there. You know, because it's the Trail of the whole Trail of Tears. Yeah. But anyways, a lot of the Native males did not do crop work. They did not do which women did all the gardening and the cropping. The males were hunters. So it was beneath a lot of them to even plant a tomato. They would rather die. Some of them rather die than to plant a damn tomato, you know? They couldn't slave these Native Americans. Yeah. And the Spaniards, you know, the Spaniards were involved in the slave trade heavily.
Oh yeah.
And they are the ones who introduced the African slaves to the Americans. And they started that whole thing. Why don't y'all just buy them? They already in chains.
There's something like
you know, like they are. See, people don't want to talk about this.
It's true.
You're right.
They only blame the English.
We keep talking about who bought the slaves. Let's talk about who sold the slaves.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez should not be talking about
it. AOC, your great-grandpappy was selling slaves, okay?
Yeah. There was only there was like 250,000 slaves in the United States, right? Before the country.
Like in Haiti and all those.
And people don't even understand this. Black people, there were some black slave owners as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to find out actively right now. I'm trying to. Yeah. If y'all don't know, if you're just coming in, my name is Terrence K. Williams. I'm trying to find out if somehow I have an ancestor that used to own slaves, because it could be some money out there for me right now, some inheritance or something, because there were black slave owners. I could come from a black slave owner.
All Harris's
I don't know, because I grew up in foster care, so I don't know all my family history. But there's a possibility that my great grandpappy owned some slaves, and I got some inheritance out there somewhere waiting on me. So if I look like any old black slave owner that you know of, please let me know. I could be entitled to something.
There's something like
Anthony Johnson was the first slave owner in the United States. Anthony Johnson was a colonist.
Black dude, right?
Black guy.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
Anthony Johnson.
So
I'm kin to some Johnsons. I'm gonna look into that, and I'm gonna put a statue up of my great grandpappy. I don't care if he owns slaves. I'm gonna be proud of my great grandpappy.
There was
maybe he enslaves some Irish too, and it gets real wild. It's real avant-garde.
There was 5 million slaves in Brazil alone.
Roughly 5 million.
Just in Brazil. And through the whole Spanish colonies, there were slaves. There were slaves in the Caribbean. There were slaves
everywhere,
Mexico, all over the place.
It was not an American thing.
No,
and it was normal at the time. Mm-hmm. People act like Americans invented slavery. Yeah. Americans may have been the last ones to really do it.
No, because there's still slavery in the Middle East.
There's slavery.
Brazil abolished slavery in the 20th century.
There's still slavery in
America's one of the I would say this: we are one of the last ones to be. Well, we're the greatest country in the world.
Right, that's why
to be doing slavery. Right, you know, it was the greatest country. But it was needed at the time. Slavery. Listen, I don't agree with slavery. Period. But it was needed. If it was needed at the time, they needed the slaves. It was normal to them. We're talking about a time, everybody back in the day was crazy, in my opinion. Everybody of all colors, they were all crazy. I mean, even people back in the day, 500,000 years ago, they were a different breed, you know.
500,000 years?
I said 1,000. I said 500 to 1,000 years ago. I mean, these are people who would gather around to watch somebody be executed in public, and they're like, oh my God,
that guy just got hung.
Hold on. They're picking their kids up to see it. Hold on, honey, you don't want to miss it. He just chopped his head off. Oh my God, that's so great. Oh, today was a great day. did you miss the public execution? Like, right? Like I would throw up like watching that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody back then was built differently, and slavery was normal. Okay, it was a normal thing. And but let's stop talking about who bought. Can we talk about it was two parties involved, okay? You can't be mad at the person who bought the slaves only. Be mad at the ones who sold the slaves. It was called the slave trade, not the slave kidnapping, okay?
Yeah,
It's a good point.
it's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and you can see the barbarism on display of like specifically Latin American slavery. You cited that number: 4.8 million slaves were imported to Brazil, African slaves, versus 380,000 imported to the United States.
Yep.
But today, the African descended population in America is 40 million. So 40 million out of 380,000, and in Brazil it's about 110 million out of 4.8 million. So you can see the devastation and the amount of death and churn. Because like in Brazil, unfortunately, they would like, there's a lot of castration involved, and they didn't view them as like an investment. It was literally just like work until you die. And in America, it was I'm not justifying it, but it's just to like blame America and hold us as like the purest form of evil. And then you can look on the same hemisphere and see like barbarism that would, I mean, you wouldn't be able to sleep reading about it.
If I could go back and change time, I wouldn't change anything. I don't care if people don't like it. They don't love how the founding fathers built this country, but everything they did led to this being the greatest country in the world, okay? Yeah. The greatest country. And I wouldn't change anything. Because if you change one thing, this would not be the greatest country in the world, okay? And that happens. Sometimes people suffer for the greater good.
Butterfly effect. There's one thing that, off subject of slavery, what really got me was individual ruggedism. Is that what it is?
Rugged individualism.
Yeah. Like there are a lot. Hassan al-Wazan, these names are tough. Matthew Henson, Jean Baptiste Point de Sable. Like a lot of
talking about.
These are a lot of black adventurers and rugged individuals who went and adventured and explored the world. Like white people are not the only effing people in the whole history of our country to go out there and explore things and to find things and to make themselves better and make their family better and just live out life and just do things. It's a real mark on the race of black people. Like, oh, you guys never did anything cool. You guys just sat down on your hands all days and you didn't actually go out in the land, but you actually did.
One of the things that's worth noting here, right, is the Protestant work ethic. Yeah, and I think that that is one of the main reasons why the United States is what it is and why the U.S. has been so successful. You see the way that the Protestant work ethic has affected the United States versus all of the, and I know that there are going to be some people that are going to be upset about this, but all the Catholics in South America, right? There's a lot of like all of South America. It was heavily influenced by the Catholics because Spain and Portugal had the Catholics, that kind of influence because that's where those colonies were.
Yeah.
The United States was largely influenced by the Protestants because of WASP, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And if you look at Northern Europe, you see a similar result because of that work ethic, right? So England, the Scandinavia, a lot of Northern Germany and stuff like that. It's all that same kind of successful societies because of that work ethic. And that's undeniable. And and whether or not people like it has nothing to do with being white because you see a similar work ethic with the Japanese and the Chinese.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you see like even the rugged individualism, like that stems from Protestantism. That stems from the Puritans. They came over, they were hyper Calvinists because they viewed themselves that they didn't need any intercessor. They viewed themselves as self-reliant on God. They viewed themselves as individual. They didn't need any institution. And that's where the fundamental anti-institutionalism of the United States comes from. That's where that individualism comes from. And you're seeing kind of a denial of that today. But I mean, that's absolutely right, like what you were saying.
Yeah, and not only is it a denial, but it's the total rejection of it, or an attempt at a total rejection. Yeah. And that's one of the things that will destroy our society is a rejection of things like hard work, thinking that is not important. Yeah. The idea that you don't work now, you can put it off. That's one of the things that built our country, and that's one of the things that you see younger generations getting away from, and that's a terrible thing.
I see it all the time, and you know what? And it's some of the parents' fault too. And I talked about this with some of my family members when I hear some of my young nephews or cousins say, well, I'm only 18. I got time. I can wait to do this and wait to do that. I can wait to get my life together. I still got. I hear people on family. Oh, leave him alone. He's just 20. He got time to chase his dreams. He got time to do this. Just let him have fun and party and do that. No, he needs to work. If you're not doing nothing at all, just sitting at home, partying, smoking, drinking, go get a job, work, do something. And then they say, well, we shouldn't even really have to work to have water and electricity when God made light. So why do we got to pay for light? That's so stupid. Like, people don't, a lot of young people don't want to work. And I think it's the fault of some of the parents too.
Sure.
Because they are not instilling that hard work in their children at all. They're not instilling that in these children. And, go to work.
Yeah.
And they're like, when do I got to wake up? Like, oh, can I just wake up when I'm supposed to wake up and go to sleep when I'm supposed to go to sleep? What, you're gonna have no food?
Effing no, you can't.
Yeah.
Right. You're not going to grow crops. I'm just going to sleep in late, so I'm going to miss these crops this time
They
around.
have
They've been
to
starve to death.
They just like the work ethic is just like one of my.
They'll just yell at me.
Yeah, like
No, you can't.
my first foster parent, his name is John Earl Solomon. This man was born in the 1930s. He did not even finish high school. He dropped out so he can help take care of his siblings because his parents, I think they passed away or whatever. So he stepped up to take care of all of his siblings. It was probably about 6 or 7 of siblings. He was working in the cotton fields, working hard, put all of his siblings through college.
Wow.
All of his siblings, and then put all of his children through college. He worked his butt off. He was in the cotton fields. He was working at meat factories, doing lawn work, doing everything he could do, and put all his siblings through college. Also, and put all his kids through college. Got them all and bought them all land and houses. And didn't even have an education at all. Couldn't even read, but he worked his butt off. Wow. If he can do it, these people today have no freaking excuse.
Yeah.
No excuse at all.
That's what I hate most about this modern iteration of American culture is we've lost that sense of. I think this is the most beautiful description of Americans is that we're like temporarily embarrassed millionaires.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of us in our heads are millionaires. Just some of us aren't quite there yet. And that mentality. It carried us to greatness, and it's getting wiped out in like 2 generations.
Mm-hmm.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Nothing about modern American life resembles early America in any meaningful way, and that's devastating. We need to recapture it before it's gone forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that obviously the 1800s were hard.
Sure.
Right. So until the 1900s, and then
there was a big shakeup in the early 20th century.
Well, and not only that, then you had the Great Depression, which is not just in the U.S., although the U.S. had its fair share of suffering because of it. But those generations that lived through that stuff lived through real hardship, and then after that, there hasn't been significant hardship on the same level since. So the boomers didn't have to deal with it. Yeah. My generation didn't have to deal with significant hardship, and then millennials and Gen Z haven't had to. So there's been no actual contact with what human history was like prior to, say, World War II. Right? The 20th century is steeped in blood. It is an absolute horror show. More people died at the hands of their own governments than any other century in human existence. And since 1940, end of World War II, since 1945, it has been smooth sailing in the United States, generally, right? There are times where you're going to say, oh, this was hard and think there was a recession or whatever. There hasn't been a depression. There hasn't been 20%, 25% unemployment. There hasn't been a massive, even COVID, which, the pandemic, right? Even that wasn't significantly awful.
Yeah, modernity softened the blow.
Yeah.
You just sat at home and watched Netflix and
exactly.
the government sent you checks.
And people did, people weren't dying.
Oh, and people received checks too.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it happens in 1920, there's going to be like riots, the whole country burns down, it'd be horrible.
People were not receiving checks in
the Spanish flu.
Right.
A lot of people died, and there were government policies that made it worse. Here, like all of these things that basically reminded society or reminded a people what real human life has been like up until basically 1950. None of the generations since have had to actually in the West have had to interact with that at all. Human existence has been a slog through mud and suffering and death up until about 1950. And so now we have a society of people, boomers included, that haven't had to deal with real adversity. There are a select few people that have had to deal with hard things in their lives, and most of them have had to go overseas to deal with it. So,
yeah, are we screwed?
I mean, to be honest with you, like the whole, hard men or soft men create hard times. It's likely that we're in the soft men part creating hard times.
Yeah, well, when you feminize a society, you insulate it from any hardship. I mean, part of the reason you had these massive events taking place before the post-world order was because men were risk takers, and we'd structure our societies and make gambles with our societies in ways that you don't see now, where now it's as careful and calculated as possible. So, okay, I mean, yes, there was these massive blow-ups, the world wars being great examples, but most of these these hardship events that we're referring to were just an outcome of societies that took risks and pushed the envelope forward. And you don't get this 300, 400 years of development that we saw, post Enlightenment, really, without societies at large taking massive gambles. And you're going to get conflict. It's going to happen. It's natural.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to jump to this last story here to wrap up this. From the AP, Supreme Court allows Mississippi to require age verification on social media like Facebook and X. The Supreme Court on Thursday refused for now to block enforcement of a Mississippi law aimed at regulating the use of social media by children, an issue of growing national concern. The justices rejected an emergency appeal from a tech industry group representing major platforms like Facebook, X, and YouTube. NetChoice is challenging laws passed in Mississippi and other states that require social media users to verify their ages and asked the court to keep the measure on hold while a lawsuit plays out. There were no noted dissents from the brief, unsigned order. Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote that there is a good chance NetChoice will eventually succeed in showing that the law is unconstitutional, but hadn't shown it must be blocked while the lawsuit unfolds. NetChoice argues that the Mississippi law threatens privacy rights and unconstitutionally restricts the free expression of users of all ages. A federal judge agreed and prevented the 2024 law from taking effect, but a 3-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals ruled in July that the law could be enforced while the lawsuit proceeds. It's the latest legal development as court challenges play out against similar laws in states across the country. Parents and even some teenagers are growing increasingly concerned the effects of social media use on young people. Supporters of the new laws have said they are needed to help curb the explosive use of social media among young people and what researchers say is an associated increase in depression and anxiety. So do you guys think that this would be a legitimate law that should pass, or do you think that it's a bridge too far? My initial gut instinct is kids shouldn't be on social media, right? Like if you're under 13, you shouldn't be on social media. I think that it's probably damaging to kids. I think that parents shouldn't allow their kids to have social media from 13 to 16, 17. I'm not sure if a law is the right way to do it, though.
How else we gonna do it?
You have children who have YouTube channels. You look at what's that it's a famous kid named Ryan's Toys or something.
Oh yeah, he's like 6.
Yeah, he's like 6. I mean, he's been hustling on YouTube since he was like probably 3, selling toys and playing with toys and have millions of followers. So I think kids can have one if their parents, if it's under their parents, if the parents are managing their accounts. I don't think if the parents need to be managing the accounts. But I don't think it's, I mean, I'm not against kids not using the internet. I don't think they should be on there. I mean, look at X. X allows it's a lot of porn on X, you know? And people are allowed to post porn on X. Elon has not banned porn on X. It is freedom of speech on there. So anybody can get on there, 13, 12, 5 years old. Believe it or not, 5-year-olds know how to get on the internet.
Sure.
They can get on and watch whatever they want.
There's
and they
also-
shouldn't be able to do that if it's porn on there that you can watch without doing an age
There's
verification.
also the argument that if you have to have some kind of age verification, it does away with anonymity. And now, whether or not you think it's a good thing to do away with anonymity, it does prevent people from making ghost accounts or making bot accounts. It is likely that you could assume that accounts are actually people in the future if there has to be age verification, or at least you'd know, or there would be some way to know. And I personally think that that's a good thing too. Now, again, I'm not saying that there should be legislation that people have to, I don't think the government must get involved, and I'm not sure that the means to do it without.
I think it should be a state issue.
But I do think that in the future, if we're talking about dead internet theory all the time, and we're concerned with whether or not accounts that are on the internet are actually people, this might be a way to make sure that they are people.
Well, I'm very skeptical of age verification because, like, something people need to understand is everyone's getting really excited about Gen Z swinging to the right, especially Gen Z men. Well, if they didn't have internet access and Anon accounts, that's not happening. That's going to be just another Democrat generation, just like the millennials. So it's like, I understand the motive. I'm not saying people, especially in Mississippi, because Mississippi is a great state. I'm not speculating these people have malicious intent. I think they actually are trying to look out for children. But you need to understand that access to information when you're a teenager is what is creating such a right-wing reaction among young people.
Yeah.
That matriculation does not occur because they're just going to be exposed to what they see at public school.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's a balance. It's a balance between like the anons who want to go and turn right compared to the government overreach.
To your point, are social media sites the same thing in your estimation as sites like 4chan? Because the phenomenon you're talking about got its start on
Got
poll.
to start at 4chan, but the average Zoomer right winger, he saw a based edit on Instagram, and then he's like, "I want that." And
So-
Trump's too far left.
So do you think that something like 4chan is a different animal, or do you think that it's counts as social media?
4chan's kind of lost its aura a little bit.
That's why I'm not going
Is it
specifically
message
for
boards and stuff.
things like that. Do you think that message boards are the same thing as social media?
Well, they're not the same thing, and I mean that I
As
think
far as this legislation would go, or this kind of thing would go, is the point that I'm making.
I think so. It would be mostly apps. Like the verification would take place during apps because it needs to be an established LLC that can process ID verification or contract someone that can process the ID verification.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people might think that it is an invade of privacy. You might have some people who want to make an account and they want to dunk on people and say crazy stuff, and then they may not want their identity. They may not want X or Facebook to know their identity. Now, is there a way? I would not be opposed to this at all. Maybe there is. No, there's always a way. When there's a will, there's a way. It's always a way. All this technology is possible. For instance, if people don't want their kids seeing certain things on the internet, okay, like for instance, there are like some of these OnlyFans models that are all over the internet, right? Because that is a big thing, porn on the internet, okay? And I don't think this is where some of this is coming from as well.
Absolutely,
porn being on the internet. So if an account is actually posting porn, nudes, videos, maybe there is a way for X or Facebook to have I don't know, people may not like that, an age verification if you want to view a page that's full of nudity.
Well,
I mean, some people may say, "Oh no, I don't want to watch it." Then that means you are watching that page, then. Because if you're not watching that, then you don't care. So we know who cares if they're against that. But I would not be opposed to that at all. If that means allowing the youth to be on the internet by market. Now, don't be marking political pages for, if you want to view Tim Pool's page, you got to show age verification because he's full of conspiracy theories. And
I think that goes without saying, though.
Yeah, I think only for like nudity accounts.
Well, yeah, I mean, one workaround. I mean, I think this actually is achievable in the next few years. Is just outright banning pornography. That would be fantastic. They'll solve all our problems. The other thing, I mean, there's so much at play here. Like keeping an anonymity on the internet is essential because, like, for example, people are so thankful that this is the most conservative presidential administration we've seen in a long, I mean, certainly in the modern era. And you have to credit that to Twitter anons because you'll see a discussion happen on Twitter. There'll be an argument, whatever. And there's movers and shakers watching that. And then 3 months later, the Trump administration, you start hearing talks that there's officials that are entertaining these ideas. Like the federalization of D.C., this was being argued on Twitter about 3 months ago by people with Anon accounts and goofy profile pictures. So it's like, it's people that have really nice, these are smart guys that have well-paying jobs and families that can't risk getting, their lives destroyed. So they have to maintain anonymity. And so that's essential. I understand the privacy concerns of the age verification, but I mean, are you concerned when you give, a gas station clerk your ID? I mean, they scan it. Who knows where that's going?
So I think I've said this on the show. I think that the idea of privacy is more an idea that's kind of passé.
Yeah.
And not, this is again, for all the people that are going to take this and get all worked up because I'm saying it, this isn't something that I endorse. Sure. This is just something that I think is a reality nowadays. I think the idea of internet privacy is actually gone. I think that people like to talk about it and they like to think that they have privacy, but then they pump all their information into Instagram, they pump in all that you need to know to actually find out who they are. Shia LaBeouf got found in the middle of nowhere because of contrails when he took a picture of a flag. He took a picture of just a flag. That's it. And it was just blue sky behind it. And they found him.
Yeah.
And 4chan found him. And it wasn't weeks later. It was very fast.
Yeah, I don't think
so. The idea of privacy, if you're taking pictures of anything at all. I saw one of those a video of some dude that figured out where a woman was because she took a picture of grass.
Oh yeah, it was Rainbow, I think is his name.
Yeah.
Rainbow, and he can like find anything, anywhere, any moment.
And you lick like a pole, and he'll go out there and get the DNA test. He'll find out exactly where it's at.
I saw there were people on 4chan that were helping call in strikes on Russians.
Yes. Yeah.
So as much as people like to say, anonymity is important to me. You're only anonymous if people don't care.
Yeah.
If people care, they're going there, and you put picture. If you don't do anything except for use one account that never puts up pictures from the real world, maybe, but most people don't have that kind of
privacy.
And also, the incel community has relationships with with journalists. Everyone knows this, and that's how a lot of these anons get doxxed. Is the intelligence agencies will pass along the information to a journalist, and then the journalist will come up with a way of how they broke it. I think it's happened to Raw Egg Nationalist, and so it's like it is important to have anonymity and whatnot. But if you really are a big threat, the intel will pass it along to a journo, and then
And to be honest with you, considering the fact that AI is still in its infancy, like once AI gets to a certain level of ability, once you get an AI that can really do digging, it doesn't take the autist on 4chan anymore. They'll literally feed in two pictures from this account, say where's this account from, and the AI will be able to find it.
I definitely understand why people are annoyed with the anons, because it's like, okay, the world I'm in that I'm plugged into is like there's a lot of these guys that seem like well-meaning and they're smart and they have a lot of fun. But you go into any influencer, I mean, you've probably seen it. You go into any influencer, there's just these vicious people that don't put their names out there because they're too scared to get behind what they say. And they just rip people all day long. So it's like, I also understand why people get frustrated at the Anon accounts, because it's just people that are cowardly. It's just some people, like the haters.
Just in like the chat, there are people that are talking about, like people have threatened me in the chat.
Right.
People have talked about, there was someone that was talking about like, who wants Phil's address?
Sure.
Like they're going to dox me.
So you have to take the good with the bad, with the Anons. You have to take the good with the bad.
I have a message that I received that I posted on Instagram. I want to read it during the after show. It is
okay.
It is some message. It was
exciting times.
Yeah, but and I know that person would not want to put in their identification.
Yeah.
So for the kids, I don't know how to fix the situation, but kids. a young kid, 6 years old, having his toy thing is whatever it is. Fine, whatever. I don't know, but it does. It's research has shown that it's bad for kids.
Yeah,
I mean, I've had
Internet is
Twitter
bad for people.
I've had a Twitter account since I was 12 years old.
That's
I mean, this
insane.
could fix the issue too.
You turned out okay.
If
What
you
year
have
did
a
you get it?
child, don't let them on the internet. Don't
What year
give
did
them
you get
phone.
it?
Don't like.
So it's up to the
2013,
parents.
so I was
Huh?
12.
The parents.
Sometimes it's up to the parents too.
Well, yeah, sure. We don't need the government to be like, yo, you can't do this.
I mean,
Parent, you have to buy
yeah.
the phone.
yeah, I agree.
That 12-year-old can't buy no phone.
Yeah, I think it's
You
just
bought the phone. You put the internet on there.
Right.
I mean, you can. They even have options where you can.
You lock them too.
Yeah, where you can lock certain apps.
Yeah.
So some of the parents are allowing this. They don't. Some of them don't.
All
care.
the parents are allowing this.
Yes.
It just seems like outsourcing this to the state seems a bit redundant. And then also, like I said, I don't trust the motive behind it because I think and I think this was a big part of the TikTok ban, is there's a huge containment breach of ideas, right? People don't want to vote for Mitt Romney anymore. And they have to figure out a way to shove everyone back into a box. And a big part of that is limiting online discourse. And a lot of teenagers, I mean, it's really bad for children to be on the internet, but a lot of teenagers, 16, 17, that's when you start being exposed to like conservative thought. That's when you start seeing turning point events. And you're,
I'm not gonna
"This is
lie.
pretty cool. wanna
I
go to
have
Liberty."
considered making an A&9 account. I've considered that. I have considered making a troll account myself. I'd be wanting to say some things I can't say on my personal page. I'd be wanting to go.
cousin W's.
I have considered it.
Just make children normal again.
Real.
All right, we're gonna go to super chat. So why don't you go ahead and smash the like button, share the show with all your friends, share the show with everyone you know. Head on over to timcast.com. Join the Discord and head on over to rumble.com and join Rumble so that way you can join us with the after show. If you're in the member of the Discord, you can call in and you can talk to the guest, you can talk to us, you can ask silly questions, you can ask serious questions, you can find like-minded individuals, but go on over to timcast.com, become a member and then of the Discord, and then go on over to Rumble and become a member of rumble.com so you can join the after show. But right now, we're going to go to your super chats, and we're going to start off with the homie Shane H. Wilder. Shane H. Wilder says, tomorrow at 10 a.m., the Texas House will end the special session and then immediately gavel a new special session. If any Dems return, they'll be taken to the House and locked in to have a quorum. I don't imagine there will be a significant number of Texas state Democratic representatives that are going to show up for work tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, they're threatening checks, and a lot of these Texas, just state reps in general, actually don't make very much money, and a lot of them do depend on those checks. So dangling the checks over their head actually might draw a good amount of them back. It already is drawing a good amount of them back.
I've been busy doing some stuff, blue collar stuff, and I haven't been on the news. I'm seeing anything, but I did see that they passed the redistricting, so I assumed that they came back, but I found out today with you guys they didn't come back.
The Democrats want to be arrested because they believe that they would love to have handcuffs on them. They are going to run with that. I mean, we would not hear the end of it. The president of the United States is arresting his opponents. He is a true dictator, and a bunch of them. You got some of them that are black. The black ones, they really going to run it up. I mean, they're going to get so many donations. It's going to be crazy.
Do you know any of the Texas Democrats that have fled? And if you do you think they're talented enough to capitalize on the attention?
Absolutely. They need something. They're desperate for something.
No, but do you think they're talented enough to capitalize on it? Obviously, it will get them attention, but will they be able to are they politically talented enough to take that attention and turn it into something meaningful that will take them out of only Texas politics and put them onto the national stage? And will they have staying powers?
Like a certain person, maybe, or two.
Yeah, I think some of them are talented enough to do that. That is what they've been doing for a very long time. Turning nothing into something, They know how to do that. They know how to do that. And CNN and MSNBC are going to help them.
Yeah,
they're going to help them.
I think they would. I don't know of anyone.
Not all of them, but they're going to help them.
Yeah, I don't know of any. I don't know the names in particular, but this would be an opportunity where that if they are politically savvy, they could turn it into a national.
They all want a Trump moment. They all want to be arrested. because they thought it would hurt Trump and it helped him.
But
so now they
Trump is there. But the point that I'm making is you can't just getting onto the stage doesn't mean you perform well.
Yeah.
Right? Like so, I had this experience in my career as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to get on this one big tour called Ozfest, and we had the opportunity, and our agent was like, "Don't do it," and I was like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Because I was like, you do Ozfest, and that means you are a big band after that. But with the year that we got the first offer, we didn't have a new product to sell. So what our agent said is, go back into the studio, do your next record, your label. He's like, I'll bet you get an offer next year. You got to trust me, but your label will then have a new record to promote, etc. And I was like, all right, this seems like a terrible idea to me, because I didn't understand. But we got the opportunity the next year. We did it, and we had all of our ducks in a row to capitalize on the attention that we got. I don't know if the Democrats have any people that can capitalize on that kind of attention.
They're going to try to.
Yes, agree.
That doesn't mean they're gonna succeed, but I do believe they are all going to try to do that. There was a time that Gavin Newsom was begging to be arrested. Not too long ago, he was saying, "Arrest me. I'm ready to be arrested. Come and arrest me. What you gonna do? Arrest me. Come arrest me." Like they want to be arrested because they want to be arrested because then it's gonna, in their minds, it's gonna prove their point that the Republican Party is a dangerous party and they want to arrest they are dictators who want to jail and threaten their opponents. Like it's.
It's great marketing, and you can raise a lot of money by being Trump's enemy. He singled me out.
And some of them, all they do is just want to raise money.
Yeah.
That's
I think you're just a measly representative in the Texas state. This is your big break if you get arrested.
Exactly.
You can be the next Beto.
It's their chance.
Yeah.
Gary G says, caught Creed live last night, based. Watching IRL tonight while running on a treadmill, even more based. Gotta love that. Get those steps in. Trader Potato says, "Yo Phil, what are your thoughts on Mustaine and Megadeth announcing their retirement? Didn't expect Dave to go on forever, but still, my sadness is immeasurable." I tell you what, I think that most of you guys know we got the opportunity to tour with Megadeth last year. We did 2 months worth of touring with him. Dave was not only an absolute gentleman, he was one of the most accommodating people that I've ever had the privilege of touring with. He's a great guy. His family are great. His son is Justice is the manager, and I saw Justice around a bunch on the tour. He was great. They were so incredibly cordial and accommodating to All That Remains. So I got nothing but good things to say about Dave. I'm super happy that I got the chance to tour with him before he's decided to retire. Look, Dave has had cancer. The guys in Megadeth are, they're all in their late 50s or almost all of them are in their late 50s or early 60s. Dave is, I think he's like 62. So, look, he's decided to bow out when he still sounds great, when he still performs great. So that way everybody remembers Megadeth when they were, firing on all cylinders. I wish that time didn't do what time does, but, I don't think that you can have a more illustrious career, or there are only a handful of bands that have had a more illustrious career than Megadeth, and there are very few people that have had the impact on heavy metal that Dave Mustaine has had. The guy wrote some of the best songs that Metallica plays, right? Like some of the stuff off Kill 'Em All and a bunch of things off of Ride the Lightning. That was Dave Mustaine that wrote it. So I can't say enough good things about Megadeth, and he will absolutely be sorely missed.
People age and get old.
Yep.
God damn you, whiteness.
Ugh. We are.
Real.
They do. Let's see. Bike Curious George says, "Here is my obligatory Rumble rant for having a baby. Congratulations."
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife had our first baby, Elizabeth Libby, 8 pounds, 7 ounces at 8:40 this morning. Everyone is healthy. That is great news. Congratulations. As soon as your wife is feeling up to it, make another one.
That's right.
Make more babies.
The baby's name is Libby?
Baby's name is Libby. Yeah, Elizabeth.
Patriot.
So, yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. Tell your wife we wish her the best. We wish you both the best.
Indeed.
Make more babies.
Indeed.
You're doing a great service.
Sending
for your country.
It was
reinforcements.
like as soon as
Thank
you're
you.
done, as soon as you're ready to go.
Yeah.
As soon as she can.
The
I mean, look,
cavalry's arriving. All these patriots are having babies. It's beautiful.
Sarah and I already have a plan worked out. Once she's had the baby, we've got a plan for
Got a
when the
notebook
next baby
written
will be coming. We've got some stuff that we have to handle first, but
Sure, that's cool.
Sheergal? I guess.
Okay.
They're going to claim those 12.4 million dead recipients were voting and donated to Act Blue for decades. I mean, look, man,
Surprised, yeah.
that's one of the good reasons, or one of the good things about cleaning up these rolls is you can get rid of the abuse. When people talk about getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse, this is the abuse they're talking about. Let's see. Lady Tate says, I've said this many times, but boomers and Gen X have single-handedly ruined this country by letting politicians get away with everything and hoarding all the country's wealth and breeding Nepo babies.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter whose fault it is at this point. We just got to fix it.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be fixed. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Let's just get to work. Let's get it done.
Positivity.
It is true to say that boomers and Gen X are causing a problem about fixing stuff. Right, like because they're not voting, they're voting to not
Obstructing it.
Yeah, obstructing the necessary cuts
That's a good point.
and stuff. So it is legitimate to say that the boomers did that. I'm not sure if the boomers did, made all the problems though, because it's been coming for a long time. I personally think that when you took the dollar off the gold standard, and allowed for the government to just print up as much money regardless of how much gold was out there. So the Federal Reserve is actually the fundamental problem, because that's where, and that goes all the way back to 1913. That was a silent generation. So
let's keep this generation stuff going. Hit this one right here.
And I'll take the blame for not paying attention to politics as a Gen Xer last year Gen Xer, because life was so good in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So
Yeah.
I didn't know how bad it was until it got bad.
Micah Dot Johnson says, Gen Z here. I'm far past worrying about Social Security. I've given up all hope of ever seeing a cent, to the point it doesn't even cross my mind. If you're married, live on one income and save the rest. Look, man, that is great advice, but it's not that simple, because what the government's going to do is inflate the currency. They're going to print, and that's going to affect you. So you may never see Social Security, but the government's going to ruin the value of your dollar.
Ouch.
And it's possible. No, I don't know that it will happen.
Buy some Bitcoin.
But it's possible that the government just blows up the dollar totally, right? Like if they start printing money, if they start printing money like hyperinflation kind of money, right? You're talking about the whole world deciding that they don't trust the United States anymore, and that tends to turn into wars. So these kind of problems are bigger than just, we won't be able to pay our bills. If we default, that'll cause a lot of problems globally, because we are the global hegemon and we have the world's reserve currency. If we start printing money beyond what we've already done, start really getting crazy, not that it's not crazy now, countries are going to start saying, we're never getting our money back from the government, from the federal government. So we might as well call in our debt now. That kind of stuff will inspire, governments to do really, really crazy bad things. And that's the kind of stuff that starts world wars. So it's not as much as I understand your point, and I agree with you. It goes beyond that, and it'll have a negative effect on not just the United States, but probably the whole world.
So we go from M1 to M2, and then we're going to hit M3, and that's going to be the,
Yeah, Spooky Toucan says, big thanks to Serge, Tate, and Phil for great takes, fact checks on Christianity last night. Hope all is well for Tim and fam. Well done to the team for holding down the fort. Luke Rudkowski is amazing too. Luke Rudkowski is amazing.
All right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he's amazing at, but he is amazing. Luke, we love Luke. He's great, but we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we love you, Luke.
And really, you should really, like. It's actually Tate and Serge that really deserve the credit. I piped in a little bit on some of the stuff that I knew, but like those guys are the real ones pushing back.
But it sucks because the clip that's getting passed around, it's like they cut out me and Serge's like dunking. But I don't know. Maybe we should have gone in earlier.
We should have gone in earlier. We got him good though.
We let him cook. We made it.
You just didn't make the cut, buddy.
He made his case. He blasphemed Christ in the process, and we had to step in.
I mean, is it just me, or should that bit have been on Inverted World? I really feel like that was probably more appropriate for Inverted World, because that kind of like, it's not your typical religious talk. It's a lot of...
No, that bit should have been for a therapist. That was ridiculous. He's bringing in penny bags. Like, yeah, get out of here. Go test it.
All right, let's see. Oh, man. Let's see. 562 Micah says, you thinking the redistricting will not pass. You are completely ignorant of how crazy the people who will vote out here. This is already done. I mean, maybe...
we're just going off polling, so
yeah. I mean, I could be wrong.
I hope
is it worse on the? Let us know. Is it on the ground? Or are people actually saying they're going to vote for it? I mean, that'd be interesting.
There's a saying, "Don't mess with Texas," and I'm.
Oh, he's talking about California.
Oh, California.
Yeah,
okay.
Because they have to, in California, the voters have to approve of redistricting because they have an independent commission.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, because the polling says it's 60-40, but yeah, you can't count out liberals to do something really stupid. So.
It could pass. You never know. Anything could happen. Anything is possible. I'm not the type to say, well, I will say never would AOC being the president of the United States of America. But I will say, but I normally don't say never because anything is possible.
Sure, yeah.
Jason Dixon says, where's Tim? That way.
He's over there.
He's out beyond yonder, on yonder.
Yep. So,
eating.
Don't worry. I said the same thing when I got here. Where's Tim?
Yeah.
Back that
I
way.
said, how you doing, buddy? And you're like, I don't give a fuck.
He's resting up. He's
sick. It's I mean, the guy who normally works like 5 days a week in the morning and at night. So, he gets sick and he's like, all right, I'm actually going to take some time off.
It also shows how hard he grinds as he misses 2 days in like the world.
That's treasonous.
What? Yeah. And you heard his voice the other day. You knew, I heard on IRL, you could something's going on.
And I've been matching barely his schedule, and I'm like exhausted for 2 days.
You have been getting it in.
For a long time, Tim did everything by himself. Like he was doing the morning and night, and there was no one that could come in to cover for him. When I started working here, one of the reasons was so I could cover for Tim so that way he could do other things. And you've got Tate here who can handle the morning show, and then me, Tate, and the crew here can handle the evening show. So it's not like he's never coming back. He's just taking the rest that he needs. Remember, he was doing the morning show and the evening show, and he did the culture war and he was doing I think he went to the after shows, the after parties at the culture war. So he's working 6 days a week.
He's doing other press.
Yeah, and he's doing other things so that it takes a toll on your body. Believe me, when All That Remains is touring and I'm doing an hour set, during the day, I'm not talking at all. I'm going to bed right after the show. I don't go out. I would never go out after the show and go to the bars and stuff like that. I couldn't do that because I wouldn't be able to talk. Never mind sing or scream. It really does take a toll. So he has to get the rest that he needs. He'll go ahead and he'll take the weekend off. And I don't know if he's doing anything tomorrow or whatever, but he's not going to be here. He'll be off tomorrow and we'll be handling the show. But he'll be back. But he's got to get rest. He's only human.
But that dude hates not working. He's mad right now that he's not working. The dude grinds.
That's another thing. Not just because he's not on camera doesn't mean he's not working. Right. He's still in the Slack
he's hitting
talking.
Us up.
He's still talking and coming up with ideas for what the segments should be. He's still directing what's going on. He's just not talking on camera now. So he's taking the time off that he needs, but he'll be back.
It also says a lot about the IRL and everyone from a couple years ago. It was just him, and now he's able at that point, that success that we're all here, that he's able to take time and heal up. Go team.
Mark the Shame says YouTube ID verification begins tomorrow. Well,
shoot.
I mean, maybe that's going to be the future.
There'll be a service that somehow gets around it, kind of like ad block.
We could invest in that company because it's probably going to blow up.
We'll probably go to jail. That's sure.
Use an N in name.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
There you go. Ray Stevens.
There you go.
John Hoyle says they'll run Governor Maura Healey in 2028, already astroturfing her, and she's getting visits from large funders. Maura Healey, what state is she from?
Maura Healey.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is that Texas? Do you know by chance?
No, that's Greg Abbott.
Yeah, Greg Abbott.
Oh, you're talking about the main lady?
Oh no, she's the
governor
she's the
of
governor of
Massachusetts?
Yeah. She's
Currently?
terrible. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's brutal.
She's awful.
Yeah, she is.
The white lady with the short gray
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, she's
she's
currently
bad,
the governor of
yeah.
Massachusetts. I am not a fan of Massachusetts laws or their politicians. So much that I left a lot of years ago, and I'm not going back, only to visit my mom. And do
I
that.
would
Yeah,
never
she
live
is-
there because I would never, for the simple fact I can barely pronounce it.
All right, guys. So smash the like button, share the show with everyone you know. Terrence, you have anything you want to shout out?
Yes, I do. You can follow me at X on X and X is to sound like a porn site. Follow me on X.
We call it Twitch.
Yeah.
A lot of times we call it
Follow
Twitch.
me on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Terrence K. Williams. If you're hungry, go to cousintees.com and get you some pancakes and some chicken or whatever you want. But do them 10,000 steps though every day. Do them 10,000 steps.
Follow me on the X, the porn site X.com. My name is Raymond G. Stanley Jr. I always enjoy having a good time here, and we have a great time.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and X at Real Tate Brown. Come hang out.
All right, I am Phil That Remains on Twix, and the band is All That Remains. You can check us out on YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget the Left Lane is for Crime. We will see you guys tomorrow right here. Tate will be running the morning show, I believe.
There's no morning show on Friday, so
just the Culture
War.
Tune into the Culture War. It will be. It is the Marvin.
It's the feminism one.
Yeah, it's Myron Gaines and
Kat
Kayla,
Timpf
whatever
and Kyla
her
Turner.
name is.
Kat Timpf.
Oh
And,
my
Whatever
God.
her name-
I'll turn it.
The,
It was,
the Destiny Sweeper, the chick that was sweeping up. for
Yeah.
Let
And
me do the ad. No, I'm just kidding.
Kat Timpf.
Don't miss it. It's a
And
monster show.
I think the Bold Lib was there too, right?
Yeah,
Was she
yeah.
on stage?
There were some cameos.
Awesome.
It was
We
fun.
won't spoil all of them. There's some good cameos.
Tomorrow, 11
It
a.m.
was definitely cool.
The Culture War, and then right back here tomorrow night for IRL. We will see you guys tomorrow.